Sam and the Four Wicked Cats. Once upon a time there was a splendid boy called Sam. He was on the way to see his friend Greta when he decided to take a shortcut through Central Park. It wasn't long before Sam got lost. He looked around, but he could see were trees. Nervously, he felt into his bag for his favorite toy, Ted. But Ted was nowhere to be found. Sam began to panic. He felt sure he had packed Ted. To make some matters worse, he was starting to feel hungry. Unexpectedly, he saw a wicked cat dressed with a brown jacket disappearing into the trees. How odd, thought Sam. For the want of anything better to do, he decided to follow the peculiarly dressed cat. Perhaps it could tell him the way out to the forest. Eventually, Sam reached a clearing. He found himself surrounded by houses made from different sorts of food. There was a house made from lettuces, a house made from cakes, a house made from sweets, a house made from pizzas, and a house made from hamburgers. Sam could feel his tummy rumbling. Looking at the houses did nothing to ease his hunger. "Hello," he called. "Is anybody there?" Nobody replied. Sam looked at the roof on the closest house and wondered if it would be rude to eat somebody else's chimney. Obviously, it would be impolite to eat a whole house, but perhaps it would be considered acceptable to nibble the odd fixture or lick the odd fitting in a time of need. "Ted!" shouted Sam. He turned to the witch. "That's my toy!" The witch just shrugged. "Give Ted back!" cried Sam. "Not on your nerdy," said the witch. "And let's let Ted out of the cage." Before she could reply, four wicked cats rushed in from a footpath on the other side of the clearing. Sam recognized the one in the brown jacket that he seen earlier. The witch seemed to recognize it too. "Hello, big cat," said the witch. "Good morning." The cat noticed Ted. "Who is this?" "That's Ted," explained the witch. "Oh, Ted would look lovely in my house. Give it to me," demanded the cat. The witch shook her head. "Ted is staying with me." Excuse me," Sam interrupted. "Ted lives with me, and not in a cage." Big Cat ignored him. "Is there nothing you'll trade?" he asked the witch. But Wig thought for a moment, then said, "I'd like to be entertained. I'll release him, and to anybody who can eat a whole front door." Big Cat looked at the house from the hamburgers and said, "No problem. It could eat an entire house made from hamburgers if I wanted to." "That's nothing," said the next cat. "I could eat two houses." "There's no need to show off," said the witch. "Just eat the front door, and I'll let you have Ted." Sam watched, feeling very worried. He didn't want the witch to give Ted to Big Cat. He didn't think Ted would like to live with a wicked cat, away from his house and all his other toys. The other three cats watched while Big Cat pulled on his bib and withdrew a knife and fork from his pocket. "I'll eat at this whole house," said Big Cat. "Just you watch." Big Cat pulled off a corner of the front door of the house made from cakes. He gulped it down, smiling, and went back for more, and more, and more. Eventually, Big Cat started to get bigger. just a little bit bigger at first, but after a few more forkfuls of cakes, he grew to the size of a large snowball, and he was every bit as round. I don't feel too good, said Big Cat. Suddenly, he started to roll. He'd grown so round that they could no longer balance. "Help!" he cried, as Bill rolled off down a slope into the forest. Big Cat never finished eating the front door made from cakes, and Ted remained trapped in the witch cage. Average Cat stepped up and approached the house made from sweets. "I'll eat this whole house," said Average Cat. "Just you watch." Average Cat pulled off a corner of the front door of the house made from sweets. She gulped down, smiling, and went back for more, and more, and more. After a while, Average Cat started to look a little squeezy. She grew greener and greener. A woodcutter walked into the clearing. "What's this bush doing there?" he asked. "I'm not a bush, I am a cat," said Average Cat. "It talks," exclaimed the woodcutter. "Those taking bushes are Wolf's kind. I'd better take it away before somebody gets hurt." "No, wait!" cried Average Cat, as the woodcutter picked it up. But the woodcutter ignored her cries and carried the cat away under his arm. Average Cat never finished eating the front door made from sweets, and Ted remained trapped in the witch cage. Little Cat stepped up and approached the house made from pieces. "I'll eat at this whole house," said Little Cat. "Just you watch." Little Cat pulled off a corner of the front door of the house made from pieces. He gulped it down, smiling, and went back for more, and more, and more. After 5 or 6 platefuls, Little Cat started to fidget uncomfortably on the spot. He stopped eating pieces for a moment, then grabbed another forkful. But before he could eat it, there came a mighty roar. A button burst louder than a rocket taking off, propelled Little Cat into the sky. "Argh!" cried Little Cat. "I'm scared of height." Little Cat was never seen again. Little Cat never finished eating the front door made of pieces, and Ted remained trapped in the witch cage. Tiny Cat stepped up and approached the house made from humbugs. "I'll eat this whole house," said Tiny Cat. "Just you watch." Tiny Cat pulled off a corner of the front door of house made of humbugs. She gulped it down, smiling, and went back for more, and more, and more. However, on the next mouthful, the food fairy struck out a Tiny Cat's mouth. She tried to stuff in another forkful of humbugs, but once again the food fell out. There just wasn't enough room left in her belly. "This is just not fair," declared Tiny Cat, and stomped off into the forest. Tiny Cat never finished eating the front door made of humbugs, and Ted remained trapped in the witch cage. "That's it," said the witch. "I win. I get to keep Ted." "Not so fast," said Sam. "There is still one front door to go. The front door of the house made from lettuces, and I haven't had a turn yet." "I didn't have to give you a turn," laughed the witch. "My game, my rules." The woodcutter voice carried through the forest. "I think you should give him a chance. It's only fair." "Fine," said the witch, "but you saw what happened to the cats. He won't last long." "I'll be right back," said Sam. "What?" said the witch. "Where's your sense of impatience? I thought you wanted Ted back." Sam ignored the witch and gathered a healthy pile of sticks. He came back to the clearing and started a small campfire. Carefully he broke off a piece of the door and the house made from lettuces and toasted it over on the fire. Once it had cooked cooled just a little, he took a bite. He quickly devoured the whole piece. Sam sat down and nor belong. "You failed," croaked the witch. "You were supposed to eat the whole door." "I haven't finished," explained Sam. "I am just waiting for my food to go down." When Sam's food had digested, he broke off another piece of the door made from lettuces. One more. He toasted his food over the fire and waited for it to cool just a little. He ate it leisurely place, then waited for it to digest. Eventually, after several sittings, Sam was down the final piece of the door, made from lettuces. Carefully, he toasted it and allowed it to cool just a little. He finished his final course. Sam had eaten the entire front door of the house made of lettuces. The witch stamped her foot angrily. "You must have tricked me," she said. "I don't regret cheating." "I don't think so," said a voice. It was the woodcutter. He walked back into the clearing carrying his axe. The little boy won a fair and square. "How hand over Ted, or I will chop your broomstick in half." The witch looked horrified. She grabbed her broomstick and placed it behind her. Then, huffing, she opened the door of the cage. Sam hurried over and grabbed Ted, checking that his favorite toy was all right. Fortunately, Ted was unharmed. Sam tanked to the woodcutter, grabbed a quick souvenir, and hurried to meet Greta. It was starting to get dark. When Sam got to Greta's house, his friend threw her arms around him. "I was so worried," cried Greta. "You're very late." As Sam described his day, he would tell that Greta didn't believe him. So he grabbed a napkin from his pocket. "What's that?" asked Greta. Sam unwrapped a doorknob made from cakes. "Pudding," he said. Greta almost fell off her chair.